going on, guys? Good morning. It's a pretty nice day today. I had a good night last night. There was the eating of the 99-cent tacos, the drinking of the Jameson, and now I got my Busy Bee coffee. So it's gonna be a pretty good day, I can tell. You know what I mean? Today I wanted to. Man, I got excited thinking about talking about this. I want to talk politics, big time. And you will be pleasantly surprised in knowing that when I talk politics, you are hardly ever going to hear the words Democrat or Republican. You're not going to hear the names of political candidates hardly. Because I like to discuss politics, not just American bullshit politics, but you know, the study of power and authority and the practice of power and authority and its influence on nations and states and communities and families. And so, kind of what I wanted to do with this episode is to set up like a framework of questions that we should all ask. And then from now on, we're going to apply that framework and those questions to various, topics. So we'll have an episode where we discuss abortion. We're going to have an episode where we discuss, topics of the day, immigration, economic policy, and we're going to kind of come at each of these topics with this framework of understanding and a certain set of questions that I'm going to introduce you in just a little sec. And I'm excited about it because we're about to step into just the ugliest fucking year. Like it's a little over the top. They're trying to make movies about Civil War and trying to, you know what I mean? Like they're trying to really rev us up right now, hardcore. Don't let the machine win. Don't govern your emotions. Do not give in to that level of cynicism and hopelessness to think that we are as divided as slavery. No, we're not quite there. We're not quite there, guys. I swear we're not. And as bad as you think it is right now, it has been worse. Okay, at every level, it's been much worse. We don't have fucking children dying in factories. It's been so much worse. It's gotten so much better. It's gonna keep getting better as long as you and I fucking hold it down, dude. So politics. Politicking. What is politics? Politics is the study and practice of power and authority. So the nucleus of politics is like the proton of power and the neutron of authority, and flying around all that shit, messing everything up, is charisma, and that's a special little thing that's wielded by the leaders who utilize those things, but power and authority, and those are very different. They're two sides of a very similar coin, but they're actually different. Power is the Incredible Hulk facing a car and punching the shit out of that car, and now that car has come to a stop. That is power. That's raw power. Authority is Bruce Banner holding up a stop sign, and that car has come to a stop. So the same outcome has been accomplished. One was a little bit destructive. The other was, less so. Those are the big differences. And that's a dynamic that all politics, you have a political career. It started the day that you were brought home from the hospital, or if you were born at home, however the hell, you know what I mean. The day you were born into a family is the day that your political career began, because at the heart of politics is, yes, power and authority, but then it plays out. It begs the questions of who gets the power, um, what gets that power, when, where, and a good leader will then explain why and how. But who, what, when, where, and then the leader explains, how and why. So let me play that out. A mom and dad in a family are the leaders, and the children are the citizens. And the question is immediately raised: who gets the power? Who gets the authority? The parents do. And for the good portion of those early years, it is very much either a benevolent monarchy, so king and queen, or an awful dictatorship. It can be one of those, but it can't be a democracy. Not when they're kids. Can't let kids vote. If you had a set of triplets and it came to a vote, I don't know. We want to fucking put everything in our mouth and die. Like, yeah. Oh fuck, they won 3-2. I guess they're fucking. The motion carries. It's like no, kids are dumb and they're gonna kill themselves. That's like so much of parenting when they're little baby. Just help them not kill themselves. It's crazy. So democracy can't happen at that stage. But when they do become, um, little rascals, little people, they start to enter that 10, 12-year-old range, and they're starting to see how wrong their parents are about some things. Like for the first time, they're questioning. Like, wait a second. They're going to other kids' houses. They're seeing how their family operates. They're seeing how the differences in income and how nice things are or how poor things are, how less nice things are. Different examples. But they've been going to school. They've been learning things that kind of there's rebellious questioning, but then there's honest, like, hey, like, there's just good observation skills that go and that lead you to go, I think my mom and dad are wrong about this subject or this topic, or I don't think this might be a weakness of theirs. They don't do that well in this arena. They don't do that well here. And so you become, so pretty soon it goes from a benevolent monarchy or a terrible dictatorship, and now it's become a democratic republic. Now it has become, the situation where the kids have, they're starting to question their parents. They're starting to question them. But the parents are still the leaders. But now the kids have somewhat of a vote. But at the end of the day, the parents are still the top dog representatives. And so it's their vote that really matters. Blah, 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 blah. That's how it goes, right? Like, we who gets the power? When do they get the power? How is that power and authority wielded? What are the limitations? Are there checks and balances to prevent, tyranny? Are there, so on and so forth. It's a beautiful thing. Power and authority. It's I think it's such a amazing, thing to look at. I think a big reason that in Norse mythology, like Thor and Loki are so popular, those two clashing all the time, because you have, these two forces at work. You have Thor, this incredibly powerful, he's just raw, savage brutality. And then Loki is this shrewd, he's that authority and charisma. He accomplishes his goals through wisdom and manipulation and chaos, and Thor accomplishes his ends by just fucking laying it down. And so I don't know, and really you could go as far as to say that these are really, that probably we probably get all this just from observations of masculine and feminine. Like, men are just, fucking, and women are, and both get what they want. They both get what they want at some point. Interesting. That's probably a whole other episode. In any case, it's it's a really beautiful thing to kind of examine politics in this way. And so I just want to set up this framework of asking who, what, when, where, the power is and authority are allotted to these people, or, us or them, or what. I understand how much there is like a desire to tear shit down. But man, if you just take like a civics class or a government class, what you will find is that yes, America is flawed and has plenty of problems. But golly, our Constitution is fucking epic. It's only as epic as we allow it to be. It's only utilized if we utilize it, so granted. But, man, what an amazing thing. Our forefathers in this country were philosophers, and they came out of Europe having inherited the trauma and having witnessed the brutality of religious tyranny. The crown and the cross fucking married. That kind of dual-wielded power was atrocious. I mean, can you imagine 100 years war fought over a disagreement over whether or not wine and bread become the physical body of Jesus and the physical blood of Jesus or not? People were put to death because they didn't think that piece of bread was literally Jesus. Like, so many people died over useless shit like that, and so these guys came together and man, just came up with such a brilliant way. What a novel and romantic experiment U.S. politics is, to be governed by the people, for the people, and not by a dictator, not by a king or a queen, and not by religious authority, but by people. And yes, it was flawed and fucked. Only men vote, only landowners vote, but built in to the Constitution, it's just, I get romantic about it because yes, we can hate how terrible the times were. That there was no women's rights is awful. That there was no rights for African Americans was awful. That they were slaves was awful. Terrible. But it's pretty goddamn amazing that they built a constitution that said, I mean, there are private letters of some of these guys. They're like, I don't know, this slavery shit is pretty wild, but I don't think we'll ever be able to get away from it. Like, some of these guys didn't want it, but what could they possibly do in their time? But they built out a constitution that said, in order to make a more perfect union, a more perfect state, a more perfect society, they created this constitution that gives all the tools and everything necessary to repair itself and update itself. Like, sure, these evil, wrong practices are tolerated now, but a society could graduate to the level to say, hey, actually, this is not ethical. This is fucked up. It causes needless suffering, and we as a society, we say no to this. No more. No more. Like, it's cool that exists. And we started that shit, guys. Fuck yeah. Like, I'm not the biggest into like I get very little pumped on patriotism, but this shit gets me hyped. I'm proud to be an American when I think of this and only this. No, I don't think of other things. Like, we didn't win World War II. Like, we had a shit ton of money and helped out, but I mean, really, the Russians fucking bled and died. They trapped, at least in the European theater of that war. God damn, those fucking Russians went to town on Germany. Now, we went crazy on Japan. That was our contribution. But the way that that we often hear about the strengths of America and all that shit are always so I don't know, propagandy, always so like fixated on shit that makes us better than everybody else. Guys, we declared independence, and all of a sudden France wanted to too. Like, we led something profound, Of course, France did it a fucking totally awful way. Fuck France for that, but goddamn, brutal, so bloody, gross, awful. The fucking guillotines, man, it's insane, dude. It's fucking insane. But yeah, I get pumped on American, on the foundations of and the dream, the dream. That's the American dream to me, is like no no crown and no church is going to influence the way me and my family thrive. They will not. They have the opportunity. They have a voice. They have a say, and they are protected. But they will not. The government and the church have no power. Have no power to enforce their will upon me and my family. What a fucking beautiful thing. Because that is not, guys, that's not been the case for most of human history at all. Like, at all. And it's so very fucking cool. Anyway, I could talk about America for a long ass time in those terms. We've come a long way. We got, still plenty of ways to go. But, damn it. Damn it, isn't it beautiful? So, yeah. Who, what, when, where. An example, I'm not going to go into big detail, but like in approaching the topic of abortion, who are the parties involved? And so you want to ask that question first. Who does this affect, and what is this about? It is about women. It is about unborn children. It is about medical professionals, and it is about the state. And anytime we ask that question of who, always include the state. Always include the leaders. Like, it's every single topic in politics in our society. You must always include, okay, but how much what do, what authority, what power does the government get to wield in this? Like, what level of involvement should they have in these issues and these topics? Um, and so the what is abortion. The who is those, women, unborn children, medical professionals, the government. You resolve those questions. Then what you look to is you look to those leaders, or those who want your vote, and you look to hear their take on how they plan to resolve, or their level of insight into the topic, and then like and why they feel that way, and come to your own conclusions, draw your own conclusions about all these things, and then vote accordingly. But so what's going to be really fun is kind of diving into each of these topics like that, and throughout the course of the year, going into this nasty divided time. It's awful. Going into this time, let's fucking be cool as fucking cucumbers. Let's talk about these issues. Um, like, let's be hopeful. Let's be civil, because politics is, man, it's so nasty. This year, you're going to lose respect for someone you love. Probably, you're going to start to not like someone you like, and the people you hate, you're really gonna fucking hate them. Like, it's this is gonna be a really nasty year, because the machine is in full. They're trying to churn people up and get people going. Like, this is awful. This is gonna be terrible. But cooler heads prevail, and the best minds, they don't talk people. They talk ideas. Okay? If you surround yourself with people who are always just only talking about people, that's the simple way of living. Don't do that. Don't do that. Look beyond. Look for something bigger than such nosy, single-minded ways of going about things. These charisma is important, but I'm too busy looking at policy. I'm too busy looking at the practical outcomes of what these leaders are wanting to do. And so as we examine all these topics and these issues that are, it's going to be fun to discuss. Just leave the personalities out of it, as best you can, and just look at the policies and the likely outcome of the policies. Look at and just look at answer those questions of as we approach each of these topics. Who is involved, what is it, how can it be resolved, and why? Why should it be resolved this way? So that's kind of it for this one. I'm super, like I said, I'm super pumped to get into politics, as I've already been doing. It's not going to be like just hot, button political topics every time. Like, I like to shake it up, and I'm a pretty classy guy like that. I'm not just gonna throw junk at you all the time that's hard to digest, or hard to, that you don't really want to hear. But yeah, I am pumped about this, because it's going to be a nasty year. But you and I don't have to get caught up in all the nasty. Like, we can do this thing. It's going to be fucking okay. Like, we have each other. You have your family. You have your friends. You have your liquor. You have, what I mean? Like, it's going to be okay. Like, everything's going to be all right. In any case, that's gonna wrap this one up. As always, man, what a fucking I love this. This has been so good. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you only watch the first 5 minutes of each episode and go, God, this guy's a fucking bore. He's such a useless asshole. Like, if that's all you get from it, then so be it. Don't mind me none. Don't bother me none. Like, I'm not bothered by it at all. I'm just enjoying the sharing. I'm just enjoying the giving and the like hi there. It's been fun. So until next time, guys, I will see y'all later. Y'all have a good one.